Hello you fine ladies and gentlemen, how are you all doing? I hope your day is going well. Today we have yet another loadout for Star Wars Battlefront. This one once again suggested by a member of our community, so thank you very much for the idea. Don't forget, if you have any suggestions for a loadout you would like me to try out, put it in the comments down below and I will do my best to review it. But just remember that not all suggestions will be reviewed, because sometimes there's a lot of them and I can't get around to doing all of them. So let's get into the Bothan Spy loadout. If you didn't know, the Bothan Spy was a loadout from the earlier Battlefront games, and as the name suggests, it's focused on a more stealth-oriented style of gameplay. As you may know, the Death Star DLC was just released, which is actually quite fitting for this loadout, as the Bothans were the ones who acquired the plans for the second Death Star. And seeing as that would take a lot of sneaking around, this loadout uses the Scout trait, which, with the release of the Death Star patch, got completely flipped around. Now, trait level 1 will allow you to fire your blaster without appearing on the minimap, and level 2 will allow you to sprint while remaining hidden. So these two perks were just switched around, but now level 3 of the trait will jam enemy radars, making them completely useless. Now, I'm not sure if it jams all enemy scanners, which seems a little much, or if it is based on a certain radius around the player, and any enemies in that area will lose their radar, so I'll have to test it out a little more and see. Now, this trait is certainly one that is a little easier to use, and it is actually really good on the new Death Star maps, as there are so many different routes you can take to flank the enemies, and staying off the enemy radars and even jamming their scanners is really advantageous. Just remember, the Scout trait loses some of its strength if you're sticking around teammates who are on the minimap, so you might have to play a little more like a lone wolf then and again to take full advantage of this trait. Now onto the blaster, and we are using the EE-4 blaster, which was introduced in the Bespin DLC. When I first used this blaster, I actually thought it was the same blaster used by the Bothan Spy in Battlefront 2, though further research proved that completely wrong. Even so, it does look quite a bit like it and handles pretty similarly to it as well. Now, this blaster, of course, is best at close and medium ranges and can be burst fired pretty quickly, making it quite powerful. Though if you don't stick to close quarters, this blaster is certainly not one of the best. Now onto the star cards. We are using the thermal detonator, as the Bothan Spy from Battlefront 2 had something quite similar, and it's also quite effective at closer ranges like in the Death Star DLC. Secondly, we are using the back-to-bomb, as one of the Bothan Spy's unique ability is to regenerate health, which the back-to-bomb does very well, of course. For the charge card, the Bothan Spy uses the explosive shot, as it does really enhance the EE-4 and makes it a lot more capable, increasing the damage and therefore the range. Now, a big downside with the explosive shot is the fact that it overheats your blaster so quickly, so make sure you don't fire too quickly when using it. So let's get into some tips and tricks on how to use this loadout to its fullest potential. As it is certainly a more stealth-oriented loadout and definitely more focused on close quarters, make sure you stick to those engagement ranges. The Death Star DLC is a really good place to start, as the maps really cater to that type of gameplay, both with the Scout trait and close-range blasters, and explosive shot, of course. Also, there are some other maps in this game, but don't really go into those large game modes like Walker Assault and Supremacy with this loadout, as those maps really just don't cater to this style of gameplay, though you could take advantage of the Scout trait quite a bit if playing those game modes. So that is all for today. Thank you all so very much for watching. If you enjoyed, I'm very glad. If you wish to subscribe, feel more than welcome to, and as always, I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.